Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, sit on the edge of the bed and just feel your age in every bone and joint? Maybe it takes a little longer to get moving, or you find yourself wondering how much longer your body will keep up with everything you want to do. If that's ever crossed your mind, you're not alone, and you're not wrong to be thinking about it. As we get older, especially past 70, it's natural to start paying more attention to how we feel. Maybe your doctor says your numbers look good, but deep down you still wonder, how long do I really have? And more importantly, how can I make the most of it? Well, believe it or not, there are small clues your body gives you, little signals that can quietly predict how many healthy, happy years you might still have ahead. These clues aren't always obvious. They're not about genetics or expensive tests. They're about real everyday signs, things you might not even realize are connected to your longevity. In this video, we're going to talk about 9 of those secret health clues that can actually give you a peek into your future. But don't worry, we're not here to scare you. In fact, quite the opposite. This is about empowerment. Because once you notice these clues, you can actually do something about them. So grab a cup of tea, settle in somewhere cozy, and let's have a real conversation. This isn't just about adding more years to your life, it's about adding more life to your years. Let's start with something simple but surprisingly powerful: your walking speed. Now, you might be thinking, walking speed? What does that have to do with anything? Well, quite a bit actually. Researchers have found that how quickly you walk, especially in your 70s and beyond, can be a window into your overall health. You don't have to be racing down the street, but if you're still able to walk at a steady, comfortable pace without too much effort, that's a fantastic sign. Think of your body like an orchestra. When you walk, everything has to work in harmony. Your brain, your heart, your muscles, your balance. So when your walking speed slows down significantly, it might mean that one of those systems is having trouble keeping up. If you've noticed you're slowing down more than usual, lately try not to panic. The key is to gently build strength and endurance. Even a 15-minute walk around the block every day can help improve circulation, joint health, and even mood. The more regularly you move, the more likely your body will cooperate. And here's something interesting. Walking speed has actually been used in studies as a predictor of life expectancy. That's how important it is. So don't underestimate that stroll you take after dinner. It's doing more for you than you think. Now let's talk about another clue that often flies under the radar: your grip strength. Have you ever reached for a jar in the kitchen and struggled to open it? Or noticed that shaking hands with someone doesn't feel quite as firm as it used to? That might not seem like a big deal, but grip strength is one of the most telling indicators of overall vitality, especially as we get older. Why? Because your hand strength reflects more than just your muscles. It tells a story about your nervous system, your coordination, even your nutrition. In fact, studies have shown that lower grip strength in older adults is linked to a higher risk of mobility issues, illness, and yes, shorter lifespan. But again, here's the hopeful part. It's very trainable. You can improve grip strength with simple exercises at home. Squeeze a tennis ball a few times a day, or practice lifting light weights while watching TV. Even doing a few wall push-ups in the morning can make a difference over time. And more than just your health keeping. Your hands strong helps you keep your independence. Being able to cook, clean, button a shirt, or carry your groceries, those small daily tasks become a lot easier when your grip is solid. So next time you're opening a jar of pickles, give yourself some credit. That little act is more important than you might think. All right, moving on to something we all experience at some point, your sense of purpose. I want you to think about your day-to-day life. When you get up in the morning, do you feel like you have something meaningful to look forward to? It doesn't have to be anything dramatic. It could be tending to your garden, calling your grandchildren, or volunteering at your local church. That sense of purpose, that reason to get up and get going, is one of the most underestimated predictors of longevity out there. This one is powerful because it's emotional, not physical. But the mind and body are more connected than we sometimes realize. People who have a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, recover faster from illness, and are more resilient in the face of stress. You might think, well, I'm retired. Now my career is behind me. What purpose do I have? But purpose doesn't retire, it just changes shape. Maybe your purpose now is to be a good friend, or to learn something new, or to share your wisdom with others. One woman I know started painting again at 73 after losing her husband. She said it gave her something to look forward to every afternoon. That little spark turned into a local art show at 76. And you know what? Her health improved too. Her energy came back, her appetite improved, and she started sleeping better. That's the power of purpose. It brings the spirit back to life, and where the spirit goes, the body often follows. So just to pause for a moment, if you're enjoying this so far and finding these tips helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll stay connected with us, and we can keep bringing you more practical, uplifting health advice designed especially for this stage of life. Okay, let's continue. There's another clue that might surprise you, and it has to do with something most people associate with aging anyway: your social life. You see, one of the most quietly powerful indicators of how long you'll live after 70 is how connected you are to others. Not in the sense of being surrounded by people all the time, but in the quality of the relationships you do have. Do you have someone to talk to when you're feeling down? Someone you can laugh with, share a meal with, or even just call when you're bored? That kind of connection actually supports your immune system, reduces stress, and lowers the risk of heart disease and dementia. Loneliness, on the other hand, is more than just an emotional feeling. It can physically affect your health. In fact, chronic loneliness has been compared to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of its impact on your body. But again, this isn't about having a house full of visitors every day. Even just having one or two close relationships that bring you joy can make a real difference. And if you've been feeling isolated lately, it's never too late to reach out. Join a local club, sign up for a free class, or simply strike up a conversation with a neighbor. Most people are just waiting for someone else to say hello first. It's these small human moments that give life its richness, and they do more for your longevity than any fancy supplement ever could. Now that we've talked about the importance of movement, strength, purpose, and connection, let's look a little deeper into another area that often goes unnoticed, but can be a quiet signal of how your body is really doing: how well you're sleeping. Now, I know sleep might not sound like an exciting clue, but believe me, it tells a much deeper story than most people realize. As we age, our sleep patterns naturally shift. Maybe you find yourself waking up earlier, or having a harder time falling back asleep after getting up in the night. That's common, but when poor sleep becomes the norm, night after night, it can quietly chip away at your health. What's interesting is that good sleep is like a nightly tune-up for your body. It helps regulate blood pressure, balance hormones, restore your brain, and keep your immune system strong. And when you don't get enough of it, or the sleep you get isn't restful, it starts showing up in subtle ways. Memory slips, mood changes, more aches and pains, even a greater risk of falls. The secret here isn't chasing perfection. You don't have to sleep like you did in your 30s, but there are gentle ways to improve the sleep you are getting. Start by creating a quiet, comfortable bedtime routine. Keep your room cool, avoid screens right before bed, and try drinking a calming herbal tea like chamomile. Some people swear by a warm bath or listening to soft music to help their body wind down. And if racing thoughts keep you awake, try writing them down in a notebook beside your bed. It sounds simple, but it helps tell your brain, "I've dealt with that, I can rest now." When you start waking up feeling even a little more refreshed, it becomes easier to move, think, and feel better throughout the day. Over time, that adds up, quietly contributing to a longer, stronger life. Now, let's talk about something you probably don't think much about, and your sense of smell. That's right, your nose can be a surprising clue about your health. Scientists have discovered that losing your sense of smell, not from a cold or flu, but gradually over time, can actually be an early indicator of deeper changes in the brain, including the kind linked to memory loss and neurological conditions. Now, this doesn't mean if you can't smell your morning coffee as strongly as you used to, that something terrible is happening. But if you've noticed that familiar smells, like flowers, perfume, or food, have faded significantly, it's worth paying attention, especially if it's come on slowly and hasn't returned. Why does this matter for longevity? Because the brain is a complex, interconnected system, and your ability to detect smell is closely tied to memory and cognitive function. In fact, some researchers call smell the canary in the coal mine of the brain. It's one of the first senses to change when deeper issues are brewing. But here's the hopeful part. If you've noticed a change, it's not about panic, it's about action. Doing puzzles, reading, learning new skills, staying social, these all help keep the brain stimulated. And believe it or not, smelling strong essential oils like peppermint or rosemary can gently train your nose and brain to stay connected. It's like exercise for your senses. Keeping your brain sharp doesn't have to be a chore. It can be fun. Try learning a new recipe, memorizing lyrics to an old song, or playing a memory game with a grandchild. The brain thrives on novelty, and the more you use it, the longer it stays strong. Now let's move to something most of us notice as we age, but few realize how important it actually is: how often you lose your balance. Have you ever found yourself reaching for furniture while walking across the room? Or maybe stumbling slightly on uneven pavement? Balance issues can creep in so gradually that we often shrug them off as nothing. But in reality, frequent unsteadiness or small stumbles can be a quiet warning sign. Maintaining good balance is about more than just avoiding falls, though that's important too. It's a reflection of how well your nervous system, muscles, and inner ear are all working together. When balance begins to fade, it's a sign those systems might be under stress. But again, the good news is that balance can absolutely be improved, even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. Simple daily exercises, like standing on one foot while holding the back of a chair or gently shifting your weight from side to side, can wake up those stabilizing muscles. Tai Chi and gentle yoga are also fantastic for improving balance, posture, and confidence in your movements. One gentleman I spoke with started practicing balance exercises every morning while brushing his teeth, just standing on one foot for 10 seconds, then switching. After a few months, he told me he felt more secure walking down the stairs and even felt younger on his feet. Small, consistent steps, that's all it takes. All right, while we're on the topic of physical signals, here's a clue you might not expect: your waistline. Not your weight, not the number on the scale, but specifically the size of your waist. Carrying excess fat around the middle is more than just a cosmetic concern. It's actually been linked to higher risks of heart disease, diabetes, and even certain types of cancer, especially as we get older. And here's the key: even if you're not technically overweight, having a thicker waist can quietly put pressure on your internal organs, disrupt your hormone balance, and increase inflammation in the body. All of these things can affect how long and how well you live. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't about trying to look like you did at 30. This is about staying healthy and strong so you can keep doing the things you love. If you've noticed your pants fitting a little tighter around the waist, take that as a gentle signal from your body. Not a judgment, just a nudge. What helps? Focus on reducing sugary foods, processed snacks, and empty carbs. Replace them with real whole foods, vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats like olive oil and avocado. And remember, movement plays a big role too. Even light resistance exercises a few times a week can help tone your midsection and reduce dangerous belly fat over time. One woman told me she started dancing in her living room every evening after dinner. Just 10 minutes moving to her favorite oldies. After a few weeks, she felt lighter, slept better, and even zipped up a dress she hadn't worn in years. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. So, as we've seen, so far your body gives you these subtle messages: walking speed, grip strength, purpose, social connection, sleep, smell, balance, and waistline. And each one is like a little lantern, lighting the path to a longer, healthier life. And if this conversation is helping you feel more hopeful, more in control, or just a little more curious about your health, would you mind giving this video a like? It lets us know you're enjoying this kind of content and helps us reach more wonderful people like you. And don't forget to subscribe. We're here to support you every step of the way. Now, there's one more powerful clue we haven't talked about yet. It's one that shows up not in your body, but in your outlook, how you see the world and how you respond to the challenges life throws at you. Let's explore that next. The way you respond to challenges, your outlook on life, might just be the most powerful health clue of all. Think about it. How do you react when things don't go as planned? Maybe your knees ache more than usual one morning, or you get some less than ideal news from the doctor. Do you find yourself thinking, well, that's it, I guess it's all downhill from here? Or do you take a breath and say, okay, let's see what I can still do? That mindset, how you frame your experiences, how you bounce back after tough moments, isn't just a personality trait. It's a real, measurable force in your health. People over 70 who carry a more optimistic view of aging tend to live longer, recover faster from illness, and are less likely to suffer from chronic conditions like heart disease or depression. And it's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing how you see what's in front of you. Are those wrinkles a sign of fading beauty, or a map of all the smiles and tears that shaped your life? Is needing to slow down a defeat, or an invitation to savor moments you used? To rush through, one man I met, Harold, lost his wife at 72 and was absolutely devastated. For a while he felt like his life had ended with hers. But one morning, he picked up her old gardening gloves, walked out to their small backyard and started pulling weeds. It became a ritual, then a habit, then a passion. By 75, he was leading a community gardening group. He said it didn't erase the pain, but it gave him purpose, connection, movement, sunlight, and peace. And wouldn't you know it, his health stabilized. His blood pressure dropped, his energy came back, all from tending a few tomato plants with an open heart. That's the power of resilience, of attitude, of choosing to stay engaged with life. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm just not naturally optimistic, here's the beautiful part. Mindset can be trained, just like your muscles, your balance, or your grip. Start with small daily practices. Keep a gratitude journal. Name 3 things that went right today, no matter how small. Talk to people who lift you up. Limit the time you spend around negativity or fear-based news. Feed your mind like you'd feed your body, with things that nourish, inspire, and energize you. So let's take a moment and reflect. You've just learned 9 powerful, often overlooked clues that can quietly signal how many good years may still be ahead, and better yet, how to add more quality to those years. Your walking speed tells us how well your whole body is working together. Your grip strength shows your ability to remain independent and physically capable. Your sense of purpose keeps your spirit alive and your health resilient. Your social connections remind your body it's part of a greater whole, not isolated. Your sleep patterns reflect how well your body and brain are restoring each night. Your sense of smell offers insights into brain health and cognitive sharpness. Your balance signals coordination, strength, and fall risk prevention. Your waistline shows us your internal health more than any scale ever could, and your outlook on life, the grand conductor of them all, shaping how you meet the days ahead. Now, maybe 1 or 2 of these clues gave you a bit of a wake-up call. Or maybe you recognized some strengths you hadn't appreciated before. Either way, I want you to hear this loud and clear. It is never too late. Never too late to move more, to reconnect with people, to eat better, to sleep more deeply, to find meaning, to smile, to heal. The human body is incredible, yes, even after 70. It wants to repair. It wants to strengthen. It wants to carry you toward joy, purpose, laughter, and peace. But it needs a little help from you. A little listening, a little action, a little love. And remember, this isn't about chasing perfection. You don't need to run marathons or look like you did in your 20s. You just need to keep showing up, keep walking forward even if it's slowly. Keep choosing to care, to learn, to try. Because longevity isn't just about living longer, it's about loving longer. Loving your life, loving your mornings, loving your body enough to treat it well even on the hard days. So, here's my invitation to you. Take one of the clues we talked about, just one, and focus on it this week. Maybe it's getting outside for a short walk. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's finally asking your doctor about that sleep issue. Whatever it is, make it doable, make it kind, and know that every small step is a vote for your future. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've noticed about your own health lately, good or bad, that made you stop and think? Share it in the comments. Let's build a community where we support and inspire each other. After all, aging may be personal, but it doesn't have to be lonely. If you found this video helpful, uplifting, or just plain comforting, go ahead and click that like button. It really helps us reach more people who might need a little encouragement. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We've got more real, relatable, and hopeful content coming your way, all made with you in mind. Here's to the strength in your steps, the purpose in your heart, and the years still waiting to be lived fully. You've come so far, and there's so much more ahead. Here's to living your best life at any age,